building software used to require a very specific high-cost sequence. You needed a team of engineers, months of development time, and enough venture capital to keep the lights on while you wrestled with the underlying code. But in early 2025, a solo builder launched a 3D browser-based flight simulator that broke that cycle. Within 17 days, the project was generating $1 million in annual recurring revenue. The creator, Pieter Levels, isn't a flight engineer or a physics expert. He's a musician who built the entire experience without a formal background in the complex math required for flight dynamics. He bypassed the traditional manual coding process by using Cursor, an AI-powered editor. Instead of writing lines of syntax, he provided conversational instructions in English, and the AI generated the functional 3D architecture in real time. By day 10, the site was hosting 16,000 pilots every 24 hours. The scale became so visible that it was amplified by Elon Musk, signaling a shift in how the tech industry views solo production. Building interactive 3D environments, a task that once required a specialized understanding of rendering engines, is now accessible to anyone who can clearly describe a problem. This is the vibe coding era, where the primary skill is logic and description, not just the ability to write syntax. Pieter's ability to leverage these tools didn't come from a technical breakthrough, but from a decade of forced iteration. In 2014, he was isolated in an Asian hostel with $500 to his name and a failing music career. While his peers in Holland were building stable, traditional lives, Pieter felt like an outcast, watching his savings shrink while he struggled to find a direction. To break the cycle of depression, he made a public commitment on Twitter. He would build and launch 12 startups in 12 months. It was a brute force attempt to move from consumption to creation. Most of those projects flopped. But while traveling, he realized there was no central place to compare the cost of living and internet speeds of different cities. He started manually filling a Google Sheet with that data, which eventually evolved into Remote OK, a job board that became a massive financial success. The lesson was simple. Stop looking for complex technical ideas and start solving mundane personal problems that you understand better than anyone else. By 2022, the release of the open-source model Stable Diffusion changed the math for solo builders. Suddenly, a single person could generate high-end visual assets that previously required a design team. Pieter used this to launch Avatar AI. It was a mess behind the scenes. He was manually running scripts on his own laptop and emailing results to customers. But the demand was so high that he made $150,000 in the first week. Success invited immediate competition. A venture-backed company called Prisma Labs saw the trend and integrated the same feature into their existing photo app, Lensa. Because Lensa already lived on millions of phones, they were able to crush Pieter's growth almost overnight, reaching $8 million in daily revenue. They didn't have better AI, they had better distribution. Pieter responded by pivoting to photo AI, focusing on professional headshots for LinkedIn and dating profiles. He realized that while cartoon trends die quickly, the need for a high-quality professional image is a permanent problem people will pay for repeatedly. In this new economy, the AI model itself is a commodity. The real value lies in identifying a recurring problem and building an audience that trusts you to solve it. By utilizing a specific 4-layer architecture, a solo builder can now produce and maintain the kind of software that traditionally required a dedicated department. This diagram shows the foundational layers, the brain and the models, translating reasoning into code. The third layer is the backend, handling databases and payments, now almost entirely automated. The final capstone is distribution, your audience on platforms like X. Without it, your product can be easily copied. This stack allows for instant iteration. When Pieter wanted to add the Taj Mahal to his flight simulator, he didn't spend weeks modeling it. He simply asked the AI to add it, and it appeared. For solo founders, the bottleneck has shifted. Success is no longer determined by how fast you can type syntax, but by how clearly you can articulate a solution to the model. The market is currently rewarding execution over perfection. If you can ship a working version of a solution, the customers will tell you how to refine the code later. Look at the data. The average small business takes 42 hours to reply to a lead. An AI agent built this weekend could respond in seconds, qualify that lead, and book a meeting before the competition even opens the email. Businesses are also drowning in unstructured data. You can build a tool to parse thousands of customer support tickets instantly, identifying the top 3 reasons for churn in seconds rather than hours. You could build a resume tailor that helps qualified candidates bypass applicant tracking systems. Since half of all resumes are filtered out for missing keywords, an AI tool that optimizes a CV for a specific job description solves a massive recurring pain point. In software development, teams spend nearly 90% of their time on administration and meetings. An AI that automatically generates documentation from code changes would reclaim hours of productive time every single week. Finally, for content creators, the editing process is an 8 to 15-hour grind. An AI-first tool that identifies the best hooks in a long video and formats them for mobile could cut that production cycle in half. The tools used to build a $1 million flight simulator in 17 days are already on your laptop. The only remaining barrier is the decision to grab a shovel and start digging.